I was getting the monthly free games. Or game, should I say. Oh, I selected the download. I saw they're putting out a new payday. I'm late tonight, so I'm on Twitch, D Live Trovo only. I will post a video on Rumble. D Live Trovo. And that never updates. Let's see what it's marked. It's been marking me as GTA even when I'm not playing GTA. Twitch has a fouled up system with that, and it's still marking me as Grand Theft Auto. I mean, I don't personally log into the website every time I go to broadcast. I really need to fix that. I haven't chose GTA yet. I may be doing Street Fighter. On the PlayStation tonight. I thought I better log into my PlayStation. I went all week, but I've logged into it. I don't think I logged into it once this week.
Street Fighter 6.
Okay, so I wait on the new version. One of the reasons why I don't log into Twitch much is I hate that system. They make you have to have your freaking phone. A lot of times I don't have my freaking phone. I'm letting it over here charge. And they pull this thing where you have to type in a code every time you sign in. I hate that shit. And I've tried to look in there and see how to turn it off, and I don't see no way of turning it off. I just absolutely despise that. I'm from the old world where you had the computer. I may not even have a phone in the future. I'm thinking about getting rid of the phone. I don't hardly use it. I don't call people. I'm really thinking about getting rid of the phone. And why people force you to deal with them is beyond me. The only thing I use it for is for Twitter and Facebook, and you know what? Your life would be basically better off without that junk anyway. It's just a CIA tool to spy on you. I'm getting where less and less I have my phone with me. And I despise these sites that make you have to use your damn phone to sign in. I guess if I decide to get rid of the phone, I won't sign in these places. Cause I'm really thinking about getting rid of my phone.
Street Fighter 6.
I'm not a sociable person. I don't talk to people. I usually use it to talk to my family. And that's texting. That's not calling. Now, the honest thing is you wouldn't have your Wi-Fi out with you when you're going somewhere. That's something to consider. The way this world's set up. I'm an old fogey, y'all. I'm not a fogey from Muskogee, but I'm a fogey from Georgia. I still remember when you had the computer and you walked away from it and you didn't have the pocket phone. Now, do I like the convenience of having the pocket phone? Sure. But now some part of me, I actually used to get mad because I had to leave my computer behind. It's too big to carry. And now I kind of miss those days. I usually carry stuff with me, but the computer was just too big. When I had a big fucking behemoth, an E-machines. Y'all remember those big E-machines that Walmart put out? That's all I could afford. And they were behemoths. They were huge. And in 2007, I bought a very old used laptop that I carried around with me. It was a Windows ME. It's still, you could still use it back then. They hadn't closed it out just yet. Actually, it was 2006 when I got it. 2007, they started closing it out, and I started looking for a Linux. That's how I started playing with the Linuxes. You know, the Linux system. I was trying to find a Linux system. I never could find a Linux system to run on that computer. I had to just use it outdated for a while, and then finally, when it got where it wasn't completely usable, eventually they made it where you couldn't do anything with it. Couldn't go on no sites, or I eventually replaced it with a new laptop in 2009. I would try to run Linuxes on it.
The pleasure is mine. I'm not gonna lose.
Round one. Fight.
Tension kicks! Tension kicks!
Oh, I didn't probably change the fighting style. I don't do too good in that regular style. I love this game's colors. It's reminiscent of Cyberpunk. The color system.
Round two.
Y'all know me, I'm a Cyberpunk. A Cyberpunk rebel. I'm like my song. I'm a Cyberpunk rebel. A Cyberpunk outlaw. That's why I made him a male. Even though I usually play characters, girls in games. I like playing girls because I like the girl on my screen. But when I wrote the song, I made him a he. Because I wanted him to sort of represent me. Now his picture looks nothing like me. He's got orange hair. That was a I had several of those, and that was the one I liked. I generated about 7 or 8 of them, and he was the one I liked. Cyberpunk rebel, Cyberpunk outlaw.
Think you could break my defense?
Oh no, I don't want her. Let's see who I'm gonna go up against. Let's go up against this guy. Boy, I always have trouble with him. He is the boss in this game when it comes to me. I never can beat him. He's the boss. He's the big guy.
Let's get this mission started. I'll take on all of you! Round one.
I rebel against everything but God. And even some things I have to plead with him about. Like forgiveness for enemies. I hate enemies. Oh, he's finally got it on me. He's got it on me again. That's what he always beats me with, though. I especially rebel against man, though. I never follow what anybody tells me to do. No man will ever rule over me. None. They'd have to kill me first. And I know there's some that'll do that, but it would come to that. It would literally come to that. Nobody's ever going to rule me. I'm unrulable. No man will ever rule me. Never. That's why I didn't put the mask on. Oh, I did wear it at the doctor's office several times. But I'm not even going to do that this time. I did the last when I walked in there and the mandates were over, and I saw it posted on the door. I didn't put it on. I got mad and I walked out. Now the second time I controlled myself because I hindered my medicines for my diabetes and stuff. But I didn't. I just told him I wasn't going to go alone. When I went to see the doctor, I went back there and I told him, I said, I don't really mean any disrespect to you, but no, I'm not going to comply. And I won't. And I don't care where to Biden. He ain't my king. He ain't my boss. I don't have to bow to Biden. I wouldn't bow to Trump. If Trump had commanded it, I wouldn't have bowed to it. No man will ever rule over me. None. I don't let men rule me. I was a giant as a kid, and I grew up thinking I was a giant. People couldn't hardly deal with me because I was a big old kid. There's one picture of me from '88. My cousin took it of me, and boy, I looked like a giant at the table. I didn't allow them to take pictures of me. My parents had very few pictures of me during them years because I didn't want pictures. I didn't like how I looked. But now I wish I had them. I'm so used to photos now. I mean, they don't think nothing about it. I take them all the time. But when I was a kid, I felt differently. God, he took my life out. Thank the Lord. No man will ever rule over Anthony Philip Stone. Never. He would die first. I'm going to talk in The Rock. He would die first. He will die first before he's ever ruled over. No commie's going to ever rule over. You can silence me, do whatever you want, but you won't rule me. And it all started that day I read that verse. Better to fear he who can destroy both body and spirit than he who can just destroy the body. And because it wasn't sanctioned under the church or under any religious guidance, I just read it. It went straight to a kid's brain that was like a giant. And I've never backed down to that. You see, I read it on my own. Nobody didn't really tell it to me. I read it. And then, like I said, I was unsanctioned. I wasn't in church. My daddy quit the church because he didn't like the pastor. And I didn't even know that was the reason until he told me. He told me a little bit before he passed on. I looked at him, I said, well, why didn't you just get you into the church? I said, that's what I would have done. He looked at me like blank, like he didn't think of that. But it's probably better off for me. I'd have probably become a Satanist. You try to force anything on me, I have to take it myself, or you'll never get it in me. So my stubbornness would have probably harmed me there if I'd been forced. And I'm thankful to Jesus every day. Because you don't want to force anything on me. I got to come to it to my own decision. But I'm never going to let no man rule over me. If you really think about our world, perfect KO. We're all made in God's image. That means we're just as great as He is. If you really think about it. He's greater than us because He's God, but He made us in His image. That means He made us to be ourselves. He didn't make us to be ruled over by somebody. But Him. He wanted to be the ruler. He wanted to be king. And He's the only one I acknowledge. He's the only king I acknowledge. Now, I will salute a king if they do the right things and they seem like they're godly, and I will honor that king. I will grant them their honorship. But no, I'm not going to let them rule over me. Because in America, we didn't have no king. They're wanting to change that. They're wanting to make dictators. Let's try him on somebody else. And I don't care what people tells me I'm rebellious or whatever. I decided today, I was praying to God this morning or yesterday. And I told him, I said, well, God, I'm going to do what Job didn't do. You know, God lectured Job about not trusting Him. He told him about how He made the mountains and the stars and the earth and the universe and all that stuff. And He lectured him because he was listening to those other schmucks that were talking to him. I told God, I told him, well, I'm going to do what Job didn't do. I'm just going to put my trust in You and tune them out. And put my trust in Him. Put my trust in Him, not what other people say.
Let's get this mission started.
I've come up with a new praying system too, and I'm not going to completely tell it because the devil, he hinders you the best he can. And if I give him my strategy, he'll know exactly how to hinder me. There's people that don't want you in contact with God too. There's people in this world that would hinder you from talking to God. Pastors. I love it when Rodney's preaching about the pastors that they'll go and report to you on to the devil on you if you let them know what's going on. God is the only one that I'm bound to. That's Jesus. That's the Holy Spirit and the Father. Those are the only three. One kingship that will rule over me, that governs me. Nobody else is governing me. If I think it's good, like say if it was something, whoa, she beat me. If I thought it was something good, I might listen. I would consider. But if it's something bad, because that's what He told us to do anyway. If you read it, focus on what's holy, what's good, what's just, etc. He told you to do that and not focus on the bad things. Which I'm bad at focusing on the bad things. I'm a murmurer and complainer. What's good? What's holy? What's righteous? If somebody commends something good and I agree with it, I might follow it. But now 99% of that stuff they were doing with COVID was not good for us. You don't need experimental drugs. And that wasn't a vaccine, that was an experimental drug. You don't need masks on your face that long. I mean, doctors wear them during surgery and stuff like that, but you don't need it that long. You don't need it on your face that long. You don't need it on your face for hours all day, every day. I mean, even if they do a surgery every now and then, that's not all day, every day. You don't need it on your face all day, every day, every moment, sitting in a room by yourself. Sitting in a room by yourself. You don't need it. And you do know that it's mainly about protecting blood from getting in their face, don't you? 9 times out of 10, that was what they wore them for.
Fight with all your heart.
Showtime! Round one.
So I'm not following. He's not my dad. This is what I used to say when I was a 6-year-old. This is the 6-year-old talk. You're not my mama and you're not my daddy, and I don't have to listen to you. I want to get childish. That's what I used to say when I was 6 years old. Well, they're not God either. He's the big daddy. He's the big daddy. I love this blue one. I like when he's blue. I don't like the green one too much, but I like the blue one. Green one reminds me too much of the Hulk. But now when he's blue, I love her. She's so tough.
Marisa wins!
Body-wise, that wouldn't be the type of woman I'd be attracted to, but I like her strength. Now let's play with Chun. I may switch games here in a minute. When I fight or wrestle too long, I guess because that's what I used to do all the time. And I've gotten into these Fallout games now, and then I keep getting stuck in them. I get stuck in them. I'm stuck in Fallout. I can't get any further. I'm sure Starfield will be the same way. I'll probably get stuck. Right now, I finally landed on the planet, but now I haven't figured out what to do after I got to the planet.
Where are you going? Sweet dreams.
I've chose Delilah and what would be a female version of Goliath? I need to look up what a giant woman would be named. I was paying attention to a Jim Morrison song the other day. I was watching him live. Y'all know me, I'm a Jim Morrison fan. He was singing, I didn't ever hear this song. I don't know which album it's on, but he was singing about a 10-foot woman, but he wanted her to be sexy with 10 feet. He wanted her to be beautiful, but 10 feet tall. I never heard that song. I may have it, because I bought their album. I just defined it and I never paid attention to the song. These are live concerts that are archived, people split them up. I've been down so goddamn long. Ooh, I censored it. That it looks like up to me. That's one of my favorites. Boom, 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 boom. And I've been down so goddamn long. That it looks like up to me. I've been playing on that a lot lately. Indeed, it shows up in my top list of songs I play. I've been down so bam bam long, boom 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 boom, that it looks like up to me. boom, boom. Boy, I've been down for my whole life. Then I have my up times. It's just a revolving door. You can't dwell on it though. You just have to get up and go. There's people medicated. I don't medicate it. I just live with it. Anxiety, highs, lows, sadness, anger, happiness. Uh, I don't. You don't want their fucking drugs in your system. You don't want that. That's what they want. They want you to be medicated. They want to charge you for your life. They want to make money off of you till the day we die. I've been down so damn long. Boom, boom, boom. That's just us GD word. And it looks like up to me. But I love the song. Boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna do some racing for y'all. I've been down so damn long. Boom, boom, boom. That it looks like up to me. Boy, I love how he sings that. Dun, 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 dun. I can't remember the words. Cause they just won't let me be. Warden, warden, warden. Screaming. I said, warden, warden. I love that song. Boy, I love that song. Anytime I get down or I get depressed, that's what I get out. It always lifts me up. Another one I love is Cars Whistle by My Window. So I believe it's all the same album, man. I'm not sure. Cars Whistle by My Window. And it just won't let me be. Woden, Woden, Woden. Will you just set me free? Boop, 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 boop. I'm going off memory here. Doo, doo, doo. I said, Woden, Woden, Woden. Just where you live. I got hung up in this. I don't know how to get out. Doo, 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 doo. What am I doing? I said, Woden, Woden, Woden. Cause it's by my window. And I don't remember the lyrics to that either. But I love how it's sung. It's so bluesy. I would probably liked him better if he'd done more of that stuff. You know, he had that weird stuff. Boom, 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 with the organ. Boom, 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 boom. But I would have probably liked it better if he'd done albums of that stuff. Woden, Woden, Woden. Because my favorite songs happen to be those, even though I like some of that stuff too. I've been down so damn long, boom, 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 that it looks like up to me. I'm actually doubling down, is what I'm saying. I've been down so very damn long, boom, 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 that it looks like up to me. I've heard two sides of that GD thing. I've decided to fear God because I think that, although I think you're really just saying damn something in his name, but that ain't his will either, so I just decided to play it safe and stay away from it. Boy, my father, he used to go around. It was one of his favorite cuss words. He would always. Of course, now that's what he grew up around. I mean, so my mama didn't ever like it. She taught me not to say it. Every now and then I've let it slip, but I've decided to go with being safe and not making the Lord mad. Because you don't want him mad at you. He's the last person you want to be mad at you. And it's not really his will. I mean, if you think about his will was none to be down. They're damning themselves. They are damning themselves. He didn't want them down. He wanted them to all repent. Repent! That's what it's talking about. He wanted them all to repent. So I play it safe now. I stay away from it. I don't know if he'll come down and strike me with lightning or not, but I don't want to make him upset at me. Like that bully kid that I wrote the song about. Did y'all know he died 3 or 4 weeks later after he did that, though? I'm telling you, he literally, he made a mockery out of it. He literally, mocked me because I told him that one day God would hold him accountable for how he was treating people. He was a bully to everybody. He treated me better than some people. I just got tired of him. He almost caused me to get killed one time. The very first day I met him. He tied my shoelaces. He went under the seats. I didn't know what he done. He went under there. He went under the seats. I get off the bus. My shoestrings are tied. And I fall down in front of a car. Now, the guy, he was a good driver. He told my mama later on at the store. He said, I sure am glad I seen him. And he was a cop, be the law. He was off duty that day. He said, and I'm glad I was a good driver. He said, because I would have run over your son. Well, 10 years later, he gets hit by a Mack truck. But now, 3 weeks before, I was on the school bus with him. And I had a 6 month, 7 months where I had to ride with the handicapped children. Oh, look, it's Philip. He's a retard. He had to ride with retards. He started doing that on the bus. That's a big boy. I didn't really care. But now I finally got up and I was swinging my cane at him. I had a cane. Better be careful of that too, by the way, and that's all I can say. Better not swing a cane at people, that's all I'm going to say. But now I swung my cane at him and Buster, I said, hit him out tonight. I said, no, I can't do that. That social worker, she's after me. She'll have me thrown in jail. But one day I'm going to leave him to God. God will handle him. Oh, did you hear that, boys? Did you hear that? God's going to come down and strike me with lightning. I kid you not, he done me like that. And I got off that bus and I told the bus driver, I said, I'm not riding it anymore. I said, I'm not riding with that animal. I told her that. I said, I'm not riding with him ever again. I will never ride the bus with him again. Well, 3 weeks later, I kid you not, he was dead. He was hit flat on with a Mack truck. So now I don't take the fear of God lightly. I don't know if it had anything to do with it or not, but he's not here anymore. And I thought about this when Rodney Howard-Browne was doing a sermon. I never cared. I tell you, I literally never cared about him. That he died. And he did this sermon. And he was talking about all the loss, and he was talking about sin. I believe it was that day he was talking about where he saw a vision or something of the people walking towards hell. I might be thinking of another day, but he did that one service. But one of them, he was preaching, and I seen his face. And I started crying. Because I realized he was only about 17, 18. He was getting close to 18. He was a little older than me because he got failed a couple times. And I was sort of tearful because I thought, well, he was just a dumb idiot kid and he's probably in hell. That was my thought. And I started crying. And I sort of alluded to that there at the end in the new song, because that song ain't new. I wrote that song years ago. I just wanted it to be a punk song. I won't, because I looked at him as a punk. And I thought, nah, I can't make it with beats, because then I run into ways that I could make punk songs. So I finally got the lyrics out and I put them to a song. Let me play it. It's number 4 on the new album. And it should be hitting the regular sites soon. It's called Aren't You Gonna Cry? No. I did finally cry after Rodney was preaching. The song was written before I cried.
Probably should have. But fuck. No. Sorry, Jesus. I'm just gonna cry.
And I did eventually get sorry for that and I had to repent of it. But that's how I deal with my anger. I deal with them with songs. When I'm going through something, I let it out in a song and then I let it go. That's how I deal with my stress. I write a song about it. I either make a fictional song up or I write about the subject. Now that part at the first, and I don't know if you can hear the lyrics or not, 'cause it's kind of punkish and it's not in a way where you can sort of understand most of the lyrics. Punk, I never can understand most punk. How did I get back to playing? Oh, I see, arcade. He held me over a toilet bowl. This was before I got big. And he had 2 other friends with him. It was like the bullies in the, you've seen the movie in the movie with the Christmas Story, where the guy had the other bullies with him. He had these 2 other boys with me and they pulled my legs far apart where I couldn't kick him or I couldn't get near him. He already flushed one kid in the toilet. He pissed in the toilet. He pissed in the toilet. And he had this other little boy, and he had me. He had those other two boys holding me, and he had two boys holding him. And he spraddled me over the toilet. But I need to tell you what he did to the first kid. This other kid, please, no. He took a piss in the toilet. Kid was going like that. And then he pissed in the toilet. He put his head down in the toilet. And then he flushed the toilet. Then he takes his pants down. He sits down, takes a dump. And one of them kids, and then he says, pick him up. And then they spraddled my legs apart. They pulled me over that toilet. And I just lean up. I can't get to him because they had me really far. I was little then. I wasn't a big guy then. And he's got that dump in the toilet. He's put my head down there. I smell it. But I bend my head up and I start looking at him in the eyes. And finally he asks him, well, aren't you going to cry? That's where I got the title, by the way. Aren't you going to cry and beg like he did? And I shook my head no. He said, put him down, put him down. That's what he did. Put him down and he walked off. You're lucky, little boy. You're lucky, he told me. And he walked off. That's where I got the title, Aren't You Gonna Cry? That's what this little punk, and he tormented me here and there throughout the years, because second grade, this was first grade when this happened. Second grade, I got bigger. I mean, our group blew up. I mean, we ended school over the summer holiday. I was 5'9". And then when I got to school that very next, he was in my class again. I said, well, I guess you won't be holding me over any more toilets. Well, I can still bully you, he told me. Well, he did throughout the years. That last exchange on the bus was the final time he bothered me. That was the last time I ever had to endure. And I told that bus driver, I said, I'm not riding to this animal ever again. I'll call my mother and get her to pick me up from work. And that's exactly what I did. Sometimes I'd have to leave early because she'd have to get off on her lunch. Oh, they got mad about that, too. That's another reason they stuck me in the suspension one time, was because I was getting her to pick me up at noon because she got off from noon to 1. I told him, I said, I'm not riding with him. I'm not riding with him. I refused to be around that monster. So my mama had to come get me. That's another reason besides the GNR t-shirt. I got put in for the GNR t-shirt one time too before. But now, one of the other times I got put in just for leaving school early. I'd literally go to the payphone. They had payphones at the high school at that time. And I'd go use the payphone and say, Mama, come get me. I'm not riding the bus with him. And she'd come get me. Well, he was dead 3 weeks later. He didn't live 3 weeks. I'm pretty sure it was 3 weeks. You know how I've noticed how I don't remember. Like, I was thinking a show we had last end of June was July, so sometimes I'm off. But from my thinking point, it was 3 weeks later. It wasn't that long. It wasn't much longer than a month. I'm not trying to intentionally lie. We are talking about 1991. That song would have done been out if I could have had it funk. Indeed, I had it in Q for the Tales of Hurt and the Paranormal. But I quit putting money into that. I stopped at 9 songs. And I even had that regular track that was the title that I titled the last album in Q too, because I had a feeling for it that I wanted as well, and I didn't do it with beats or the regular beats. I didn't do it like the rappy beats. So that's the way I do. I write songs. If I have a certain sound I want for them, I won't release it. But if I don't have particular sound, I'll make them sound however I can get them to sound. If I can fit the lyrics with it, if I can create a beat and fit the lyric with it, and I don't have a sound in mind, it becomes whatever song it becomes. I'm not picky about certain songs, but now some songs I write, and I have this vision of how I want it to be, and I will not break my vision. It smells terrible tonight. I don't know what I'm smelling. I don't know if they got a broken sewer line somewhere or something, but there's something smelly tonight. Something stinking. It's in the air. Devil, if you're around, go to hell on. You know, he stinks. He smells horrible. You know, I told him last night he wasn't welcome in my house. I'm number one if I can keep it. I just noticed that. I probably won't keep it. I'm bad at going off the road. And I'm not doing too well in this little car. Blue moon. A blue moon. A blue moon. Keep shining bright. Blue moon, keep on shining bright. You're gonna beg me back in my baby tonight. Blue moon. Keep shining bright. Like I said, blue moon of Kentucky, better keep on shining. Shine on the one that's gone in and let me blue. I said, blue moon of Kentucky, better keep on shining. Shine on the one that's gone in and let me blue. Well, it was on one midnight night. Stars shining. Love, say goodbye. Love, say goodbye. Blue moon of Kentucky, better keep on shining. Shine on the one's gonna let me blue. Boo, boo, boo. I think I got some of that in my soul too, you know. I was raised on rock. I got the feeling in my soul. Whoa, I ain't the best, but I can do it. And I was raised on rock and roll. And a little bit of country too. Like Alabama, I've told y'all that before too. I loved Alabama, I loved Waylon Jennings. Waylon, Alabama, Billy Ray eventually in the 90s. Even when I was getting into that grunge stuff, I was into Billy Ray. Billy Ray Cyrus. Y'all know Miley, she's talking about being young at one time. I actually seen her when she first entered the stage. We was at that show. You know that picture I show y'all every once in a while? That was that show she first appeared on. Let's see if I can find it. I was raised on rock. My mama's people come from that Tupelo and Corinth there. She was Corinth. But you want to know something about Tupelo and Corinth? When we went to Memphis, this is how close it is. I kid you not. You enter the line, you go across the line in Corinth, and right across is Tupelo. It's like that when you go into Memphis. I was raised on rock. I got the feeling in my soul. Whoa, and I ain't no greatest like Elvis. I ain't nobody. Most people don't even know me. The only people that know me are the people that run into me and found me on the internet. But now I think I got it in my soul. I was raised on rock. I got the feeling in my soul. Whoa. My mama come from that area. That's where people come from. It's Corinth. One side's Louisiana and the other's Mississippi. And I get confused which is which, but they're right there close together. I mean, they're smack close together. I was raised on rock. I got the feeling in my soul. Whoa. I know anybody's been out there knows what I'm talking about. You drive right in from Corinth into Tupelo. Oh, here it is, this picture. Let me find it. I'll have to pull up my, one of my, uh, I'll pull it to be right back. Because I don't know if I want, I don't know what I think I got a face on my podcast that I don't want to pull up because it's the mug shot, and I don't know how friendly. I know it's going to YouTube. You know, they're picky about certain things. So I was raised on rock. I got to find it. I don't remember what folder it's in. I'll be ready in just a bit. I know it's in one of my OBS folders. I don't remember. Because I save my videos in different folders. Oh, I see it. I see it. Well, this very night, they rolled out Miley Cyrus. She actually come out on her own, though. They didn't let her come out. She walked out with her daddy. She had a Willie Nelson doll that night as well. I was raised on rock. I got on TV. That's the Guns N' Roses shirts that I get in trouble for, by the way. I would always have a bunch of them made. I would have different colors. That was the last version I got because the lady went out of business. The lady went out of business, and that was the last one that we purchased. She would have sell these prints and like the dogs and the Georgia Bulldogs and some bands, some musicians. And Guns N' Roses was one of those logos that she would sell. And that's the shirt that I tell y'all about that I got through in. That's not the same shirt. That's the 93 one. When she closed that summer of 93. And I'd always get them. I'd wear them to wear out. I mean, I had this special one. I think part of it was still around not too long ago. I mean, yeah, hose all in it. I mean, hose on the back, hose on the front. I love the special one. Uh, I love that shirt. And I had to cut my hair. And I kid you not, the lady asked me, "Do you want bangs?" Where's that picture? Guess I'll be right back. "Do you want bangs?" He said. I said, "I'll try them." Well, I forgot about going to the TV show. And I was taking classes back then, and I kid you not, we called in sick. And that guy focused on me 3 times that night. He was obsessed with that Guns N' Roses t-shirt. You know, they was on TNN one time. This was TNN. And this was the original TNN. And they did the farm, where they did down on the farm and Civil War for the first time. And he ends it with that. Thank you. Good fucking night. And the guy at the best goes, "Oh," and they cut him off. But now, the guy he must have been the camera guy that was filming the farm aid because he was obsessed with that. I mean, I kid you not, he was obsessed with that Guns N' Roses t-shirt. He focused on it 3 freaking times when Billy Ray was on TV. You can still see them if they still showing them. Now you have to watch them in order. But when you get to November 94, you might see me. Because, what is that called? America? What TV station is that? America. What's that called? They used to be TNN. And then TNN got sued by MTV. And MTV took it over, and then later, years later, like in the late 2000s, they revived it as one of those antenna channels. And they would show those. I was always hoping I'd see it when it was back on. And I ran into it after they aired. I thought, oh, I almost had my chance to re-see it again. Because they pulled the shows back out. It's called Music City Tonight. And Billy Ray was there, and he was advertising his new album. There's a storm in the Highland. There's a storm in the Highland. I've not only been on the internet, I've been on TV. Boy, I wish I could. I don't know if I might be smaller now. I don't know what I was back then because back then I was obsessed with Like this was before it really triggered. And I was obsessed. I mean, I got myself up to 90 freaking minutes a day, and I didn't weigh back then, so I don't know what I weigh. I look like I'm in pretty good shape compared. I mean, my chin's big and broad. I've lost some of that chin now that I've gotten older. It was huge back then, that chin. But my body, I kind of like how that body looks there. But now I don't know. They might have. I'm not going to go by that because TV is TV. They might have some kind of trick or something. Who knows? That's the first time. That's the only time I've ever been on TV. I've been on the internet streams and I've been on TV before, and it's because of Billy Ray Cyrus. He did Deja Vu that night, and he did a song with Mark Colley. I was raised on rock. I got some country in me too. Feeling in my soul. Whoa. I wish I could think of what that channel is called. America something. Let me look it up. TNN, the former TNN, the Nash, and I can find out what the new one is called. I'd like to see it myself again because I've lost my. I had it on DVD, and I misplaced it when I made those fucking screenshots. Yeah, with that DVD, I looked all over for it. I hope it's hidden in a wallet somewhere. I got some DVDs in one of my boxes. I'm hoping that's where it's at. The Nashville Network. Let's see what it's called now. It's got a new name now. The National Net. Well, that was Heartland. Heartland's it. Heartland, because the National was what. That was what MTV turned it into. But now it's called the Heartland, and it's headquartered in Chattanooga and Nashville, Tennessee. And they launched it November the 1st, 2012, 10 years ago. And I kid you not, they used to show it. Let's see if they still show it. I don't know if they still show that show or not, but it was called Music City Tonight. They got the programming here. Okay, programming that aired on the Nashville Network included Nashville Now, Crook and Chase. That's it. I mean, Crook and Chase was what I was on, not Nashville Now. Nashville Now was that other dude. What's his name? Ralph Emery. Crook and Chase was the next one. Music City Tonight. They made one called Music City Tonight. That was what Billy Ray was on in November '94. Heartland plays the reruns. Now I know they used to actually show it about 8, 9, 10 o'clock p.m. That show. They'd have all kinds of singers on there. And that guy, he got obsessed with my T-shirt. That cameraman got upset, and I was supposed to be at school that night, but I stayed out. And that guy had me on TV, but I didn't ever own up to it. They didn't ever ask me, and I didn't ever say nothing. I was taking some computer classes back then. We used to have a night school. The one good thing that maybe them carpet mills did that I always rag on, it used to charge in the old days. When I was doing homeschool, you had to pay to go. So they had some computer classes, and a few years later, or the year and a half, it would probably been a year and a half because I would have graduated around that time. I did homeschooling. It'd probably been over a year and something. So they let me go. They let me take the classes anyway because I wanted to take computer. We didn't have computer at home. I was going to stay the whole course, but then I wasn't able to do the really night stuff. I mean, they would go to 11 p.m. and I wasn't able to set up that long. I did the 7 p.m. one, and the 7 p.m. one killed me. They had some early day 4 to 6 or something, and 7 to, and then they had a 11 o'clock, the one all the way to 11. I could not handle the 7 to 9 or whatever, whichever bracket it went to. So I quit. I didn't even take the third class because the third class was, I took a history back then too. Because I was trying to get some credits. I was going to go for the diploma because them son of a bitches. You know, in Georgia, well, Georgia was bad at this. They really did it to the blacks. They were bad to the blacks on this. And Nathan Deal, when he was governor, he started correcting this problem. I mean, he was giving them out, but by that time, we'd lost our records. You had to have your records. And he would give you the diploma. They would deny you for whatever reason. They wanted to deny you a diploma. Well, they denied my mother a diploma because she used, get this, she used Christian books. They had a problem with the Christian books. So they stuck their foot in the door today. We would turn them in to graduate. We're not taking that. He'll have to be educated. Him and her have to be educated on. She was teaching both of us, my family, and you'll have to go back and do it with books that we approve of. My mama said that this ain't a part of it. We've been checking with attorneys and people that were some of the big shots here in town were involved with the homeschooling. And we already knew they couldn't do this, but now it didn't do us no good. She said, get off that property. We're going to call the police. And they put their foot in the door and they wouldn't even let us in the room. Wouldn't even let us in the building. She put her freaking foot in the door. So we just went on home well, when they started offering the night school, my mama told me that they're actually giving to it free now. You might have to go over and try to get your diploma. So I was going to try to get the diploma, but what sparked me to want to really do it was on computer classes. Now, they weren't supposed to do it. They told me they were because I technically graduated. But now they allowed me to take them. They was going to allow me to even try to work for the diploma. Even though they wasn't supposed to. Because I technically graduated. I did homeschool. They just didn't approve of the books. Now, our state was bad at that. I mean, they mostly deny black people. They were racist. You want to talk about racism? They mostly denied black people, but they denied us based on Jesus. Now, I'm going to tell you something about them books. Especially the history books. They were greatly good when it comes to the forefathers. Yeah, a lot of good info in them books. A lot of good info that you didn't hear at school. That you didn't hear at the public school. Woo! Got an achievement. You heard some good stuff in them books that wasn't in the public school. Oh, this is what it does. You just have to get a GED, or go back and redo it. Oh, that's how she said it. You just have to get a GED. You just have to get. That's why she said it. I didn't ever get one. I said, fuck it. I said, fuck it. I didn't go get one. I graduated, just don't have a diploma. Now, they was going to let me earn one. That woman told me but then we found out later on she knew one of our aunts. We found that later on. She said, we're not really supposed to do this, but I got to the 7 p.m. when I couldn't handle the 7 to 9. Y'all know me, I have health issues. That they were starting in back then. I mean, this was when they was ramping up. This was right before they started. I mean, I got to 1995. I was in bad shape. And I couldn't handle the 7 to 9. This is too much on me. I was tired. Of course, I had these problems at school, believe it or not. I would come home, and that's the reason they'd fight with me about the homework. I tell them, I don't feel like homework. I want to go. I'd go home and I'd go to sleep when I was a kid. Because I have a neurological. Now, I didn't know I had a neurological, but I had it. It ran in the family. I didn't find that out that I was talking to my cousin, and I started telling him the side effects of it. He told me, you might better go have that checked. Well, we went to the clinic, and they agreed that I had all the symptoms, and the only way they could ever pinpoint it, take a piece of the brain when you die, or a piece of your heart now. And I told him, I said, I said, heart problems runs in my family. I don't want to do that. And the doctor, he agreed with me. He agreed with me. My doctor, my personal doctor, said, you don't want to do that. I don't notice anything wrong with your heart. Well, he told me. So we decided to pass on to prove it. But I have all the classic symptoms of it. So they decided that I pretty much have it. Because it runs in our family. It affects your legs. It affects your muscles, your back muscles, and your legs. But in particular, your leg muscles. But I couldn't handle those night classes. The 4 to 6 one was fine. Now when I started that, and the last computer class was the 11 one, and that's when I quit. I said, well, I like the computer classes. She finally told me, you don't want to quit. We actually gave you a chance to earn your diploma. And I said, well, so she's not able to do it. She said, well, I understand. That was one thing the carpet mills did do that was good. They actually started paying the fees, them and other businesses in the area was paying the fees of the night school. The night school used to cost you so much a semester. And they'd actually, I even got an award in the paper in that history class. And I'm going to tell y'all something about the history class. That guy, he called me up here and said, where are you getting all your information at? You understand you're better than all these students here? I said, I listen to Jack Venipy every week. He was always telling you the history of the governments. Every Sunday, Jack Venipy was telling you the history of the Medes and the Persians and all that, and all the way up to the European Union. He would go into that, you know. He was telling them this going to be the revised Roman Empire. That's what Jack Venipy was always teaching. And he did this stuff almost every week. And I told him, I said, you want to know my secret? He said, what's that? He said, I watched Jack Venipy. Well, dang, he said. He said, you're a grade A student here in this history. That's what he told me. So see, God works. God reigns. I'll see y'all next time.